As the country heads towards a new government and the euphoria of the November 20 elections subside, all the limelight seems to have fallen upon Rashtriya Swatantra Party, which has emerged as the fourth force in the national politics. However, with its leaders expressing themselves in different interviews, political analysts have felt that the party, with its elected leaders coming from diverse backgrounds, lack a clear-cut ideology to guide them on national agendas. Good morning, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the top stories of the hour. Vote counting continues in Dolakha and Syangja. Counting in Bajura halted as ballot papers exceed the number of voters. Transactions suggest use of illegal funds during election. Around 50 billion rupees not seen in banking mechanism. Experts attribute lack of transparency of parties. China condemns and accuses British lawmaker of gross interference in its internal affairs as a group of MPs visit Taiwan. And Germany exits the World Cup from group stage for the second consecutive time. Japan produces stunning result to enter into the last 16. Vote counting for a seat at the House of Representatives has continued in Syangja constituency too. Nepali Congress candidate Dhanaraj Gurung is leading the race, collecting 12,953 votes, and CPN-UML's Padma Aryal is second with 10,627 votes so far. Rashtriya Swatantra Party's Tikaraj Gurung has garnered 5,676 votes. 70,191 votes were cast during the election on November 20. However, the vote counting took 10 days to begin due to disputes between parties. Vote counting is also underway in Dolakha. Based on the latest updates, CPN Maoist Centre's Ganga Karki is on the lead with 3,618 votes, followed by CPN-UML's Balkrishna Shivakoti with 1,800 votes. Rashtriya Swatantra Party's candidate Jagdish Kharel has 135 votes so far. Voting took place yesterday in 8 voting centres in Baiteshwar Rural Municipality 6, 3 and 2 and 2 voting centres in Tamakosi Rural Municipality 2 amid tight security. According to the district election officer, the voter turnout was 50%. Vote counting that began in Bajura from yesterday after a consensus from the all-party meeting has been halted. Counting has been stopped as the voting centre in Badi Malika Secondary School reported that the number of ballot papers in the ballot box exceeded the number of voters in the region. CPN-UML has said ballot papers exceeded voter numbers by 40%. Now, around 50 billion rupees is assessed to have been spent during the provincial and parliamentary election. Despite such massive expenditure, the funds have not exited the banking mechanism. Instead, deposits in the banking and financial institutions have increased during the elections. Experts are of the opinion that the lack of financial transparency of political parties and candidates have led to this situation. On the morning of 11th September, when the Nepal Rashtra Bank distributed new notes, amount used by public had reached 607 billion rupees. Such consumption figured 665 billion rupees on the 12th of October, indicating that 58 billion rupees exited the banking mechanism during Dashain and Tihar. Immediately after the festivities, the nation was immersed in election fervour. Political parties and candidates spent a large amount for use of vehicles, promotional materials and campaigns, and food for cadres and voters. While all these transactions were taking place, proportionate amount was not seen exiting the banking and financial institution. 663 billion rupees was in transaction on the 1st of November, while the amount decreased to 649 billion rupees in the third week of November. It shows that 14 billion rupees entered the banking mechanism during elections. Deposits have also increased in the banks. Between the 4th and the 25th of November, additional 2 billion rupees entered the banking mechanisms. Based on the sealing of the Election Commission, a candidate for the House of Representatives was allowed to spend a maximum of 3.3 million rupees. However, such figures never exited the banking mechanism. Former Governor Dipendra Bahadur Chetri claims such instances prove use of illegal funds during the elections. Mainstream political parties are currently engaged in equations for a new government. These political entities are busy in their homeworks for power share by prioritizing the positions of the Prime Minister, President and the Speaker. Nepali Congress, CPN Maoist Centre and CPN Unified Socialist are making efforts to sustain the ruling coalition. These parties are also making efforts to collaborate with other fringe parties in case the ruling coalition does not meet the parliamentary requirement to form the new government. Meanwhile, CPN-UML has also expedited efforts to form a new government under its own leadership. Even before the formation of the new government, the political parties are prioritizing the positions of Prime Minister, President, Speaker and other high-ranking designations. In addition to these ranks, there are 59 other major political posts, including Vice President, National Assembly Chair, which vacates in a year's time, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Chair of National Assembly, Chief Minister of Provinces, Governor, Province Speaker and Province Deputy Speaker, among others. Each province also has its own cabinet and ministers. Nepali Congress are understood to be making efforts to include Loktantrik Samajwadi Party and other entities in the existing coalition, which includes themselves alongside CPN Maoist Centre, CPN Unified Socialist and Rashtriya Jana Morcha. The party leading the government is likely to need to allocate the designation of President and Speaker, among others, to their partners. CPN-UML are claiming themselves as the largest party based on the proportionate votes and challenging Nepali Congress for formation of the new government. Considering the results of the House of Representatives, more than 3 parties must come together to form the new government if Nepali Congress and CPN-UML do not collaborate, and which is unlikely at the moment. Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba and Janamot Party Chair C.K. Raut have held talks regarding collaboration in the formation of a new government. Raut, who has emerged as a new political force of Madhya province from his first contest in the parliamentary election, has appeared positive towards collaboration for the next government. Meanwhile, Raut has also called on Maoist Centre Chair Pushpa Kamal Dahal. Premier Deuba is understood to have recommended Raut to help in forming a democratic government. According to Nepali Congress Vice President Purnabahadur Khadka, Raut was positive in his response. Both the leaders also spoke about collaboration in forming governments in both federal and provincial levels. Janamath has been recognized as a national party and has won 1 seat in the House of Representatives and 7 in the Provincial Assembly. Senior Congress leader Bimalendra Nidhi had initiated efforts to include Janamath in the ruling coalition. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. What's your take on election expenditures being non-transparent? Your options are A. Helpless monitors, B. No good governance, and C. Using black money. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. It's time now for the international update. China has accused British lawmakers of gross interference in its internal affairs as a group of MPs visited Taiwan. Members of the Foreign Affairs Committee arrived on Tuesday and have met high-level officials, including Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu. Taiwan is self-ruled, but China sees it as a breakaway province that will eventually unite with it. A controversial visit in August by senior U.S. politician Nancy Pelosi had enraged Beijing. China responded to that visit by holding their biggest ever military exercises in the seas around Taiwan and also blocked some trade with the island. On Thursday, the Chinese embassy in the UK said the MP's visit to Taiwan region of China took place despite Beijing's firm opposition. A spokesperson said it was a gross interference in China's internal affairs and a flagrant violation of the One China principle. Floods have claimed the lives of at least 2, while 1 person is missing in southern Brazil. According to Carlos Moises, governor of the much-affected Santa Catarina state, one of the deaths was caused by electroshock, while the other was related to a landslide. He also reported a missing military firefighter who allegedly fell into a river with a strong current. Search operations have already been deployed to find him. According to authorities, rainfall was higher than what was forecasted for December. In some regions, it was up to 6 times more. Santa Catarina officials called on people to avoid road travel as a state of emergency was declared in several cities. Nepal's national cricket team is playing against Namibia under its World Cricket League 2 Namibia Tour. The match, to be played at United Cricket Club ground in Windhoek, has been scheduled for a 1:45 p.m. kickoff Nepal time. This is the first League 2 series under the captainship of Rohit Paudel, also for coach Manoj Prabhakar. Nepal needs to produce good results in the series to maintain its ODI status. Nepal has lost both its earlier League 2 matches against Namibia. In its first match of the ongoing series, Namibia faced a 4-wicket defeat against Scotland yesterday. 7 nations are playing in the series. Nepal is in the 6th position of the table with 17 points, having won in 8 and lost in 11 matches so far. Scotland is in the 2nd position and Namibia 4th. The top 3 teams from the series will get to play in the World Cup qualifiers directly, while the remaining 4 teams will go for playoffs. In a show of good sportsmanship and plain old common decency, dozens of Japan fans have been sticking around after the final whistle at World Cup matches to help with the cleanup. After Japan beat Spain 2-1, a group of Japan supporters hung around to collect trash left around the stands of Khalifa International Stadium. The courteous fan filled blue plastic bags with discarded cups, plastic bottles and wrappers, while most fans were already well on their way home into the early morning. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.